Hey everybody, welcome to 10.0 week at long last. We've had our guinea pigs. I don't know if guinea pigs is the right term. Is there an Australian version of a guinea pig? We had our Australian folks and Canadian friends who have had access to 10.0 for, I think, over a month now. Something around there. And then it's trickled into EMEA, to Europe, over into US2, and now, as of last week, everybody has access to 10.0 for good and for bad. Mostly for good, I think. But thank you, everybody, for joining in. We wanted to celebrate the occasion and make sure there's so many things. As Ninja's grown, there's not just RMM. There's, of course, all these different aspects. There's backup. There's MDM. There's all the various components of RMM, the patching document, and then there's ticketing documentation. There's so much going on with every new release. It's easy for things to fall through the cracks. And so we wanted to take advantage of the fact that we have some amazing product managers here at the Ninja One team who are not only good at what they do, they're also, for some reason, very happy to be involved with the community. And today, I'm very happy to kick off 10.0 week with one of the best, one of my favorites.
You're going to say that every day this week. I know you are.
Chris Williams. He is involved with patching, one of the most crucial elements of Ninja One. Everybody definitely give Chris a warm welcome. And Chris, great to have you here again.
Yeah, nice to be back. I was here for 9.0, and I talked about how that was a really big release. And I think this one for patching, I think is just as big, if not bigger, on patching. So I'm excited to talk through some things.
More. So Ninja Striker says, so Ninja One introduced patching in 10.0. Nice. That's right, folks. That's right. No, basically, as Chris mentioned, it's always a big release with patching. There's so much that's changed, and it continues to be one of the areas that we get the most discussion on Discord and everything too. So, Chris, I understand that there's quite a few things you wanted to share. I'm going to get out of the way and just let you have at it.
Yeah. This will be no slides, just all demo today, and then answering questions. But yeah, this release for patching especially brings some major quality of life improvements and really powerful new tools to hopefully make you more efficient with patching, make patching more predictable, and then easier to manage across your environment. So let's dive right in. The first thing that I want to talk through is patch caching. This is a new feature. We've been testing it internally with some users for the last several months, and now it's gone live for the 10.0 release. And so here's the idea with caching. Like, instead of every device reaching directly to the internet to download updates, the agent will instead, the first device that goes and gets that device or goes and gets that update, it can now pull those updates from a cache server that you decide on. You create like which device on your network. So cache server, it acts as a local mirror. I'm going to go into the administration tab here just to kind of show how it works. If you do have this enabled for your environment, it'll show up under devices. You'll see cache, but really most people are going to be configuring cache servers at the location or likely organization, either one of those two levels. So I can go into, I'll just pick one here and pull up a location. So I have different locations for this organization. If I wanted to, I could create a cache server here for the organization, but I want to create one locally for my San Francisco headquarters. So I would go in here, go to cache, and now I can stand up a location specific cache server. I can see which devices are already at that location. Here I have a server that's running. I can choose where this cache lives. I can have a specific folder just for Ninja One caching. Say I have a disk load specifically just for caching. My maximum, I can configure a maximum cache size percentage, the cache size in just pure gigabytes. We'll tell you which one if you have both of these configured. we'll tell you what this means. So we'll use up to 25% of the disk with a cap of 20 gig in this case. Um, so here, if I wanted, I could store up to 40 gig worth of updates. So really, what this helps you do, just to further elaborate on some of the benefits of caching, this helps with faster installs. This helps reduce your bandwidth consumption across your WAN, and it provides better reliability, really, for environments with limited or inconsistent internet access. I've talked with a lot of our users that have remote sites with terrible internet connectivity that might go in and out, or you're capped at, I've seen some that are like a 5 meg internet connection or slower. Um, so this really helps with downloads there. I'm going to go ahead and apply this. And so when I apply this, what happens immediately on here is that we reach out to the agent on this device and we just tell it turn on the caching components. And so now any other agents that are at this location, there were two others currently configured in this demo environment. They would first reach out to this device, this server, to see, do you have the update that I need? And if not, it would say, hey, go download that update for me right now. And it would download that update and it would just be sitting in the cache on the server, ready for any other devices that might need that update. And I didn't show in here, I can go in and edit, like you can set limits on how long files live in there, the download bandwidth. So if I am at one of those sites that have very limited internet connectivity, I could set a custom download limit, and here it defaults to a minimum of 100. I think 100 kilobytes per second is the lowest you can go. But upload bandwidth, like how much internal network traffic should I use? So we give you lots of different levers to configure how the cache server is used. And like I said, you can configure these at the location level. You can configure them at the organization level. Or if I close out of here, you can also configure them globally. You could have a cache server that lives system wide and is available to everyone. And we do try those in order. We start with the location based cache servers first, and then if they're not available or none are there, then we move up to the organization level. We'll check for cache servers there, and if none are available, then we go to the global. As really, it's like our second to last resort. We don't expect too many users to configure global cache servers. Depending on if you're a very large enterprise, that may not be the best suited for you. And then as the last resort, we will go directly to the internet. If all cache servers are down, we can't connect to anything internally, we will still try the internet as a last resort, just to make sure that your devices are still getting patched.
Awesome. This is really cool. I mean, I've seen, I think one of the latest examples I saw was someone who's supporting a lot of schools in rural areas where the bandwidth is really low. And so this is a cool feature that they, I'm sure, would be interested in. Quick question, just backing up a little bit.
Yep.
As with any of these new releases, the way that Ninja goes about this can roll out from early access into you have to kind of bug your account manager and request access for it. Super early stuff, you have to sign an NDA and get all covert. But then it eventually moves into general access. So, Chris, Kevin may have joined in a little bit later, but just to confirm, is this available in general, or is this something that people have to reach out to their account managers for?
So the answer is possibly yes to both of those. Like, it is available to everybody. It is generally available. However, the one slight bit of bad news here is that it is only available to enterprise users and MSPs on there. So reach out to your account manager if you're not sure if that's the type of license that you have. Reach out to your account manager and they can talk with you about whether or not you have access. And if you're not seeing it and you think you should, also reach out to your account manager. We can make sure that we get it enabled for you.
Yeah, and if anyone has questions, who is my account manager? Hopefully you know that, but if you don't, if you are a member of the Discord, drop me a note and I will help you find out who that person is. Okay, so then we have another question from Cooper. Hey, Cooper, do cache server locations support local network drives?
It depends on how it's configured. If you just want to do like // and then put in like a network share path, the answer is probably not. But if you map it internally on the server and you map that as a local drive, then yes, we'll see that and we'll treat it just as we would any other local drive on the machine. And so in that case, yeah, it would work. Just make sure that doesn't go down, or you're going to get errors if it's a network share. Yep.
All right, perfect. Moving right along.
All right. So the next item I want to talk
Oh,
through is. Oh,
so I'm so sorry.
nope.
Striker. Look at me. I'm just pushing this ahead. Let's just slow down a little bit. Okay. Striker asks, for those of us running segmented networks, will this feasibly work to create a segmented patch location to prevent needing to allow secure service through the firewall to Microsoft updating sites?
So that's actually a great question. I know what Striker's talking about there. So the the question is, can we use this if we have sites that don't have direct access to the internet to download and manage updates? And the answer is kind of, because the for agent connectivity to be able to connect to for Ninja One to be able to manage each device, the agent still needs to be able to talk to our cloud environment. So you still need egress or outbound only access to the Ninja One cloud servers for those devices that might not have internet connectivity. And one other thing for our Windows OS patch scans and for some Microsoft software, we do online scanning, which means we are reaching out directly to Microsoft to check and see, do we have the latest information available. So you would still need outbound access for Microsoft and outbound access for Ninja One's cloud servers. And then from there, like, you could download the updates to the cache server, and then the devices, they're not going to go reach out to the internet directly to download those updates. They would get them from the cache server instead. So you wouldn't have to necessarily open up firewalls for Chrome updates, for Office 365 updates, just like some of those third party updates. I know we have a very long list to allow through firewalls for third party software. This could help with that, so that you would only have to, on the cache server, you could open up those for the cache server only, so that the cache server can still go to Google and get Chrome, or go to Microsoft and get Office 365 updates. But then we could manage the actual install through the cache server. So hopefully that answered that.
Awesome. Thanks, Striker. Good question.
So the next item that I want to talk through is smaller for sure, but I still think it's incredibly useful, and that is the apply now option that we've added. So you've probably had moments when a high priority patch needed to go out right now, like not during the next scheduled patching window, not later tonight, but immediately. So think of a in this case, I have an example here shown, a CVSS score of 10. Like, this is highly critical. This is something that, like, if it's on a server, especially a server that's has internet facing traffic, you might want to patch that immediately. And so what we've added here in this is in my pending patch approvals. So I haven't even approved this patch yet, but I still have this apply now option, and I can say I want to approve this and I want to apply it immediately. And we still, like, we'll queue up patches. So if a device is offline, like, we still queue it up and say, hey, when this comes back online, it needs to get this patch immediately because of how critical it is. Um, so we also, as part of this, will respect any policy settings that you already had in place. So like duration settings or pre and post script automations that you might already have configured. We would honor those as part of this. So we would still run a pre and post script automation for OS patches if you have those configured. But again, this is especially useful when responding to 0-day vulnerabilities or emergency patching scenarios where timing is crucial on there. Any questions on that before I move on? Like I said, it's small, but I do think it's very useful.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah, and
right.
we can come back around too if there's folks who join in late or if you had any other questions about that.
So the next item that I want to talk through is the default approvals for software patching. I'm going to go to my software tab here. This is the start of a much bigger feature that's actually coming very soon. So today, the way that you manage software patching is by adding specific applications to the software tab and configuring the approval settings for each one. If I wanted to change these, I would go in here and configure different approval settings for each of these. That it's worked. It's worked well enough in the past, but as we plan to grow the list of software that we natively support with Ninja, we're currently growing that, and we plan to grow it significantly over the next year or so. We don't want you to have to keep coming back in here for all of your policies and adding individual applications. So today, like we've in the 10.0 release, we have added this default approvals, and you might have noticed over here we have these are all set to default, and it says default with manual approval. Um, I can override these and go in and say I want like this one to be approved automatically and set this to install if not present to know. So you can see like I can go in and approve this, but we've now added this new section here for default approvals, and it'll be off by default for your existing policies. It'll be turned on by default for any new ones. Um, but I can come in here and I can say, well, instead of manually approving all my critical patches, I just want them to be automatically approved. And I save that. And if I come over here, I can see now before it said default and manual, and now it says default approve. The one that I overrode, that didn't get saved because I didn't actually save the policy. So you can see here like that. This allows you to change the default approvals across a large swath of applications without having to select each one. And I mentioned this is the start of something bigger because in we're planning this for the 11.0 release. So just to give you a preview, thank you all for joining. You get a sneak peek at what's coming. This approval will apply to all applications, all Ninja supported applications that are not on this software tab as well. So I could come in here if I wanted, and I'm just going to remove, I only had 90 or so added. I could remove them on here, and then I would just be using this approvals as my default. That's coming in the 11.0 release. So this is really the first step to a much bigger change there, so that as we add new products, you don't have to go in, like I said, and manage each one of your policies and add those products individually. You can just say, hey, if Ninja finds this on the device, go ahead and patch it. Like I don't want to have to go in and add every single app that I want. From again, this is from the Ninja source. So if I look here, these are the Ninja One source applications. It'll apply to that. For Winget, because I know a lot of you use Winget. I've heard a lot of great feedback on that. We've added a similar feature, but it's a little bit different. It's the Winget Upgrade All option. So this Winget has a mechanism built in where you just say Winget Upgrade dash dash all, and and then Winget will just go out and find anything that it knows about on the machine, and it will try to apply updates automatically. This is great for those of you who are heavily invested in Winget or who use and love Winget quite a bit. The drawback to this, and I do want to call that out on here, that's give you the full transparency, is that because Winget is going out there and just upgrading everything that it sees, if you have specific, let's say Chrome, you're managing Chrome with Ninja. If you have Chrome added and you've said that you want to reject a specific Chrome patch for some reason, that will get ignored. Winget doesn't care about the Ninja approvals, at least not yet. We're looking at changes there. So in this case, it's just going to upgrade everything. It's going to ignore the approvals and rejections that you have set already in the product. But again, for those of you that are heavily invested into Winget and love using it, this is a very simple option to say, I just want you to update anything that you find, and then I don't have to worry about it. So that's something new that's in 11.0 as well. And it's, like I said, it might not be for everybody. You might not want to use it if you have specific approvals and rejections for certain apps, but it is available for those of you who could make use of this feature. I got a lot of feedback from people saying they would like to see something like this, and we are looking at ways to enhance this for future releases to try to see if we can get it to honor the Ninja approvals and rejections, and give you more information about specific apps as they're updated as well. Right now, I mean, Wing gets a bit of a black box when it comes to some of that.
Thanks, Chris. It seems like the through line with that and the earlier new capability you mentioned, it's really removing friction, removing
Yes.
that manual process of having to just do so many clicks and trying to get it down.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. In the goal for this, this default approval is for, especially with the 11.0 release, we want it to work a lot like you do OS patches, where you don't have to manage them so granularly, where you're having to manage each application individually, unless you want to. We're not taking away the software tab. You can come in here and still choose specific approvals for each individual application if you want.
Awesome. So we do have another question here. This is from L Patel. When we go to individual device page and it's got 5 or 10 patches pending, we need to select and approve all individually. So is this flowing over into that? Is there going to be a way that they can select all and approve there too?
This one is a little bit different. So when we go to individual device page and it has, so if I'll just play that out real quick and go to a specific individual device. Um, so pull up this one here and go to pending. This is a Linux machine, so we have hundreds of patches available. And saying we need to select and approve all individually. Is there a way we can just select all and approve? So it depends on how many you have on here. If you have the limit on this page is 150, and that's why I picked this device in particular, because I knew it had over that. So today, if you have you can approve in batches of 150 from the device page. I can say approve for this device, or I can say approve for policies. I can also do that with rejecting. I can do this for the apply now as well, just going back to that new feature that's available. But you can only do it in batches of 150 at a time. We are looking to expand this in a future release, so you could select all, and you could do, if you had 1,000 or 2,000 patches or more in there, that you would be able to manage those all at one time. But
That's a lot of
that's
patches.
what's that?
That's a lot of patches.
It is a lot of patches. But I mean, this is one machine, and you can see the number of patches for Linux. Linux is kind of its own unique animal when it comes to patching.
Well, Chris, before we move on to the next feature you wanted to go over, let's go
Yep.
back over into, let's see, Josh's question here. And this is referring to apply now. How about reboot settings?
Oh yeah. So yes, that is still respected with the apply now option as well. So if you have it set to prompt the user, they would see a prompt. If you have it set to not prompt any users, they're going to get restarted immediately. So that it does respect and honor the reboot settings that you have configured in the policy. It's similar to just coming in here. This device isn't online, but normally the play button where you say, I want to do a patch and apply now, it's essentially doing that same thing, but just sending very specific patch. Say, I want to apply now, but I only want to do it for this 1 or 2 or 3 patches.
And then, awesome. Yeah, I can imagine too, just wanting to absolutely clarify before they make a change like that. And yeah, you got Cooper and Josh are very appreciative. All right, we have one other question, off topic a little bit, but this is from Martin, and Robert already answered it. Yes, reject optional regular updates. But anything else you wanted to add for this one, Chris? Is it possible to reject all Microsoft's preview updates?
Yeah, so they do that. Those will come in as optional updates. So if I go, I'll just pull up a policy here, and if I go into Windows patches, as Robert already mentioned, that yeah, you can go in here and you can set them all to reject. Or if you're not sure, if you want to see those patches come in at least for a while and choose yourself, go ahead and set these to manual approval. And then normally I would set the important ones to automatic approval. Um, but yeah, go ahead and set them to manual, and then you can review them as they come in until you feel comfortable about what you're seeing, that they are being like correctly categorized, and move to manual approval or move to rejected later. The cumulative updates that you typically get, those are going to come across as regular updates more often than not. And there's the preview cumulative updates, and so this will be the row here that you look for. And then
Awesome.
I know we're almost out of time, but I got one more feature.
Yeah, one more. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. No, and I'm actually already where I need to be to demo this. So we have added maintenance mode as part of the patch schedules. This is, we think, another big step forward in patch reliability and transparency, and getting companies more comfortable with patching in general. So we've added these new options around maintenance mode to all patch schedules. So this applies to Windows OS patching, Windows software patching, Mac software patching, Linux patching. It's available anywhere that you can do a patch schedule. You now have this option added to do a maintenance mode and start maintenance mode when the patching job starts. So if I have a group of servers that I don't want to be alerted as those servers are doing patching. We already have a maintenance window defined, and patching starts at the beginning of that. I can go ahead and say, yeah, suppress all the notifications. There's going to be probably a little bit higher CPU or maybe network traffic. The device will go offline as it reboots. I don't want to get alerts for those, especially overnight. Like you don't want people to get distracted by a lot of false alarms. So we now have this maintenance mode option built into the patch schedule. And you can say you want to suppress condition alerts, you want to suppress notification channels. These are very similar, and they're worded exactly the same as the options that you see if you were to go into a device and put it into maintenance mode. We don't let you, we will not let you block automation tasks because you might have a pre or post. In this case, we have firewall. This is a pre and post script automation. We don't let you block those as part of patching. We don't want you to block accidentally anything that's critical to doing the patching itself. So that you won't see quite the same number of options, but the important ones are there. And then when the machine reboots and patching is done, then we will pull it out of maintenance mode, and you can go ahead and continue getting alerts as you normally would. And there is, um, I'll give a preview. Like, we've extended that same concept to scheduled automations, and Stephen Murphy is going to be talking about that on Wednesday. I don't want to steal his thunder, but make sure you sign up, or make sure you join this call on Thursday or Wednesday, not Thursday. Make sure you join Wednesday, and then Stephen will be talking about how we've done this on the scheduled automations as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I think you did have it right. I think it's on Thursday.
Is it Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to clarify with him. But
We've
yeah,
moved the schedule around, and so yeah. We'll make sure, just come to all of them, and
just
then you
come to
don't have to
all of
worry.
them.
Right.
Exactly. What else
Yeah.
are you doing? Come on.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, Chris, thank you so much. Folks, we're right at time, but I will give you one last shot. If you have, we've got Chris held captive here. If you have any other questions, final round for questions. And while we're waiting there, I want to tell you a little bit about the schedule, just as a reminder. So each day this week, and it's around the same time. There's 11:30s Eastern. There's a couple noon Easterns, but around midday Eastern U.S. time, we're going to be doing deep dives just like these ones. This one. And tomorrow we're going to dive into SSO and admin updates. We got IDP initiated login and some other things like that. So that's we have our product manager Reed, who's going to be going over that. On Wednesday, I believe, we've got Luke Whitelock, who's going to be sharing updates to IT assets management and to PSA. Steven's coming on Thursday to talk about long-term data retention and maintenance mode updates. And then wrapping up the week, we've got Paul, who's going to be talking about macOS file vault management and some other things around macOS. So that's our schedule. Looks like we don't have any other questions. So, Chris, I think you're free to go. Oh, wait. Robert.
Robert's patching.
Drop us your ticket number, Robert.
I'm
Chris, thank you
probably
so
already
much.
looking at it. If he's posted it in Discord, probably have it on my radar. But yeah, go ahead and drop it in the chat. If not, I'll take a look.
Well, thank you everybody for joining this, helping us kick off 10.0 week. Let us know in the Discord. There's a specific channel for your feedback. We want to hear everything, right? And Chris, thank you once again for joining and being such a great PM, but also a community member. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I appreciate the community. You guys are great.
All right, folks. Happy Monday.